Good morning, everybody and anybody. The other day I was calculating up how much I've spent being a motorcyclist, having bought a bike and then everything that goes with it, just to see how much it costs. And I thought, you know what? Sounds like an interesting video. So this video is just going to be about what I've spent on the bike. I'm going to find a spot to pull over and just kind of go over everything that I've spent being a motorcyclist from start to finish. As of now, anyway. As good a spot as any. And I got my notes here, so that's good. So I won't be pulling things, from memory, which is not a good way for me to do things. So let's start off with how much the bike actually just cost me from the dealership. So I bought this for $4,800. I do not remember what kind of dealer fees or anything like that. I just walked out of the door with it for $4,800. Then I had to get it registered, so that was another $96. And I've got this registered for off-road too, which was about $70, I believe. That price I'm kind of going off of memory with. And so total spent just on buying the bike, getting it registered, and that was $4,966, which is a pretty good deal. It had 10,000 miles on it when I got it. It's been a very reliable bike. So that was just for the bike. Next, of course, we've got gear. So the first helmet that I got, it actually came with the bike, and so that's kind of incorporated in with the price of the bike because they threw in a free helmet. Later, I bought a Gmax GM11D. It's the same helmet right here. I also had for a little bit a Scorpion EXO AT950, which I got a steal of a deal on. I bought it for $100. This helmet, the other one that I've gone through, was $107. This one was about $115. But this comes with special lenses that you can get for this helmet, and I made the mistake of actually buying like 2 of each instead of just 1 of each. So I got like a whole bunch of lenses for this helmet, which is good because I actually got another one of these helmets, and so I'm able to use it. But with the lenses and all that and some other accessories for this helmet, I actually spent like $120 just on accessories. I spent more for the accessories for the helmet than I did for the actual helmet. The first jacket that I got was a Joe Rocket jacket. I got it on clearance for about $100. I didn't really like it a ton for cold weather, so I actually got some fly pants and a fly jacket for about $240. And then I have the Bilt gear that I'm wearing right now. I got it for $288. And this has actually been a really good set of gear. Some people really like to bash the cycle gear. That's fine, to each his own. It doesn't bother me. But I've had this for almost 3 years now, and I love it. It keeps me warm, it keeps me dry. No problem there. $288 for this. I bought a pair of Joe Rocket gloves for $40. I have these gloves, these were $20. I still have my Joe Rocket gloves, but they don't make them anymore. I've got the balaclava on underneath this helmet here. That was $30. This doesn't work very good for when it starts to get hot, so I had to go get a cooling vest and also a mesh jacket, Joe Rocket mesh jacket. Yeah, the cooling vest was $30 and the vented jacket was $129. And then I just have some regular thinner gloves for when it starts to get hot for summer riding, which are only about $16 or so. Overall, that adds up to $1,335 all in gear. Okay, so now we're on to bike accessories. This is a Suzuki tank bag here. This cost me $90. I could not find this thing online, not even after I bought it. But I do think that it's actually, the perfect size for the bike if you're actually going to use it to have some carrying capacity anyway. I also went through another tank bag, that just $40 one that you always see at Walmart. And I still have it. I still use it if I'm not going to pack anything. If I just want something to stick my phone in the rain or something, I'll still use it. So these are the Bike Master heated grips. That's about $50 right there. This is the Air Hawk. It's about $80 right there. I would definitely recommend one of these. It's lightweight, rolls up, easy to take with you. And it really makes it comfortable when you need just a change from the stock seat. These are Givy crash bars right here. This round part of it. Those are $180. This crash bar extension thing, I built that myself, and so it was only like $20 in iron, and I guess the time that it took to put it together. So about 20 bucks for these, but you know, you don't really have to count those. But I still did spend it by having a motorcycle. That's just to help me so I don't bang the snot out of this thing trying to do some tighter turns. Eventually this will probably just come off. But for now, trying to do some off-road stuff and not having a lot of experience in that area, I'm going to leave them on there. Okay, so this is the skid plate right here. That was 62 bucks. There's actually a whole video on making this skid plate. This has been a little bit refabricated for here as well as the center stand. It's been cut back a little bit shorter, but that was 62 bucks to make this skid plate myself. And then we also have the center stand, which was a gift from my wife and my in-laws. About $280 or so. Thank you. And then that brings us to the suspension, but it's a progressive 465 shock for the rear, and then the progressive shocks for the front, which I have yet to put those on because I was waiting for the weather to turn. So I still have those to put on, but I will be doing that shortly. As you can see, the weather and the trees and everything, it's going to turn here pretty quick. I didn't want to lose out on any riding days just because I had the bike in the garage having work done to it. Yeah, so that suspension all put together was about $750. Then we got the throttle assist right here. This was 160 bucks. This is one of the only ways to go for these things. I mean, this thing's awesome. It works so good to where you forget what you actually spent on it. You don't think about that because it does exactly what you want it to do. And then the phone mount is a RAM mount. I don't have it with me because if I put it in here this time of year, it's so cold that my phone will go dead in like 2 minutes with the cold air, and I think there's something wrong with my phone as well. But I use a RAM mount for this. It's 50 bucks. I spent probably about another $50 just trying out other types of phone mounts. So as far as accessories goes, that's it for that. All of that put together totals $1,812. So now let's move on to maintenance on the bike. I do most of the maintenance myself, and I am due for some things that I haven't done yet. But I'll just go through what I've actually done so far. So about falled over here. So as of now, I've gone through about 4 rear tires. I'm running the Shinko 705s. They're not a very expensive tire, but I'm actually really happy with them. So for the rear tire, I've spent a total of $510 buying tires for the rear. So on the front, I've gone through about 3 tires on the front. Again, Shinko 705, of course. This was $280 total for the 3 tires that I've replaced this with. The chain and sprockets, I've gone through about 3 sets of those, and I've gone with genuine Suzuki parts on that. And so total, I've spent $537 just on replacing the chain and the sprockets. The front and the rear, I've spent about $120 on the brake pads. The brake fluid, spent about 20 bucks on brake fluid. Oil, I figured I've spent about $200 just on oil. About $100 on a filter for the oil. These aftermarket turn signals here, these were really cheap. These were like 16 bucks, but I dropped the bike shortly after I bought it. I broke this, so I had to get some new turn signals. But I'm happy with those. They worked really good. I lost a bolt for the front fairing part that I had to go get. It was about 10 bucks. Pretty expensive little bolt, I tell you what. The new clutch discs that I put in here, they were about 30 bucks. Coolant, I spent about 40 bucks in coolant. Now one of the things that I did have the dealership do is I did have them adjust the valves for me when it was due. And while they were at it, I had them change the spark plugs. And that was $250 to have that done. So total cost of just maintaining the bike is $2,113, which really I don't think that that's too bad, considering the bike's never broken down on me or anything. There was one time that this little wire, there was one time that this little wire came undone under here, and the bike wouldn't start because it has a safety control for the clutch, so you have to pull the clutch in to start it, and that thing came unplugged. That's the only thing that this thing has really done as far as let me down. I wouldn't even consider that letting me down. I mean, nothing actually broke, just something came a little disconnected. Okay, so there are a couple things that I bought that I don't know if I would have it if I was a motorcyclist or not, but I do know that I bought some of it specifically for the motorcycle because I have one. So I thought I would just add them to the list. One of them is this helmet cam. It's about 200 bucks for the Contour Roam. I actually really like this helmet cam. It's another one of those things that it hasn't let me down too much. I mean, it just functions. It does its job really well. And then there's this GoPro, which was 189 bucks or so. I don't know exactly how much was paid. Oh, also, this helmet cam, this was a gift from my wife, as well as this little GoPro. They were both gifts from my wife. So she supports me in my video making stuff. I appreciate that about her. Now also, you can see on my helmet is the comm system. I bought that in a 2-pack, but I like to be able to talk to my kids if they ride on the back, and I wanted to be able to talk to my wife and stuff when we ride together and stuff. So it was a 2-pack that costs about $350, but well worth it, definitely well worth it. Now there's one more thing that I have to list just because I wouldn't have it if I didn't have a motorcycle, so I'm kind of tied into it. But that is the motorcycle trailer that I have for this, that I built. And if you want to see that, there will be a link in the description, along with some other videos of things that I've done to the bike and stuff. But I wouldn't have that trailer if it wasn't for this bike. And it cost me about $450 to build that. And so it sent me back 450 bucks. So total for all of those little weird accessories, including that trailer, the total is $1,189. So in total, when you count like the bike itself, all of the gear, all of the accessories for the bike, for maintaining the bike, and all these little odds and ends that add up. I did the very best I could to remember all these things. There's probably another little bit spent on little odds and ends here and there, but that's the stuff that I could definitely remember and find prices for and stuff. So overall, what this has cost me is $11,419 to be a motorcyclist for me, for the route that I took and for what I decided to buy. That's how much it cost me. However, I really don't think that's that bad. I think that's actually a pretty good deal. For what I've got, it does everything I want it to do. The bike's never let me down. My gear is holding up. It's getting dark. I will have to say that I do have some regrets. I have 3 purchases that I regret buying. And one of them is actually kind of 2 of them. One of them was just the other phone mounts that I wasted money on trying to just find a good phone mount. There's 50 bucks there that I think was just kind of a waste of money. I should have just bought a round mount. And the other one is the fly gear. I am really not impressed with the fly gear. I didn't actually write this down, so the total amount of that is only this much. Those are the purchases that I regret. I am just so happy with what I've got here. And for the price of $11,500 basically, I think that's pretty dang good. I mean, I know some people, they're gonna buy a bike for, $17,000, $18,000, $19,000, $20,000, and that just gets them the bike. It doesn't pay for anything else on top of that. And that's almost twice as much as what I've put into this. I mean, true, some of those bikes are definitely higher performance bikes, but for me personally, I'm not a high performance person. And this thing has not let me down. I mean, it's got plenty of torque. It's got plenty of get up and go for me. It'll take me on a lot of back roads. It'll take me on the highways to do long trips and stuff. And actually, I should probably clarify that this is actually over a course of about 8 years almost. It's about 8 years. I bought this in the spring of 2011. It'll be 8 years this spring of 2019. So, and I'm not really going to do a whole heck of a lot more to that list. I might do a little bit. So over about 8 years of riding this bike, that's how much it's cost me. And so I'm not disappointed with that, even in the slightest. But anyway, I know I haven't posted for quite a while. I've been busy. I've been trying to focus a little more on my health, and my wife and I just had another offspring. So we've been busy trying to get prepared for having another baby and everything. And so I just kind of like put the YouTube videos on the back burner to try to take care of the family and, like I said, some health things. I'm not unhealthy. I'm not dying. That's not what I'm trying to say. It's just you reach a certain point in your life where it's like, man, you got to do something or else. fill in the blank. You better do something or you're gonna die. Maybe. But if you are one of those people that actually, you know, waits for me to post a video and actually like watches a video as soon as I put it out there, thank you so much. So anyway, that's it for this video. I thought it was interesting to just kind of throw that out there. I thought it was interesting how much I actually spent. I thought it might be more than that. I didn't actually take into account any of the fuel. So I'll go home and I'll maybe calculate that up, just kind of on an average, because I do know how many miles I've put on it, so I can times that by X amount per gallon. That'd be pretty. I'll put it right up on the screen right here if I figured that out. So this is how much I spent in gas, making a grand total of, yes, that's how much I've spent, including gas, on my bike. So, which I don't think is too bad. I think that's actually a pretty good price for what I got. I'm also very, 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 very happy with what I've got. This bike has just not let me down. It's been a pleasure to ride this bike. The only regrets that I have are those couple things, and I think that's pretty minimal regret when it comes to regrets about this thing. I can imagine someone buying an entire bike and having to basically just eat thousands of dollars because it's not the bike for them, and then they end up selling at a huge loss or something. I mean, I'm glad I don't have that. Thank you for watching the video. Really appreciate it. I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day. I hope you have a good day, and we'll see you next time. Well, that was interesting. It looked like it looks like the little GoPro may not have recorded anything. That would be typical. Man, I love that center stand though. That thing's awesome. Okay, so let's just start off with, I don't regret buying anything else for this. I'm tickled pink. Tickled pink? If I had a motorcycle, how much more money would I have as opposed to having it and having to spend everything having to spend everything on it. Yeah, I'm not that disappointed. I spent about another $100. Not another $100. There goes my papers. $11,149. No. Where did I get that number? That ain't even close. Is my memory that bad?